On Off Air with Amy this week, we're going to be talking about the homeless situation in South Carolina, and it's firing some people up. In fact, a council member who is soon to leave his seat took on his fellow council members with a challenging letter with a lot of emotion. And so I'm going to read that letter to you so you can understand what Russell Stahl was trying to say to his peers. The letter reads in part, I'm standing here with a heavy heart, and this is not where I wanted to end my tenure on city council, because tonight we have decided if Greenville's compassion is real or if the words are a strategic plan. He says, I hear the frustration from businesses and residents. People are uncomfortable. But when did discomfort become more important than human dignity? When did not seeing suffering become more important than ending it? Let me be clear about what this ordinance does. Nothing. It doesn't house one person. It doesn't treat one addiction. It just tells the most vulnerable people in our community, your suffering is an inconvenience. We don't want to see you. The evidence is devastating. City after city has tried this. Not one has successfully reduced homelessness. What they've done is waste millions shuffling people from encampments to jail and back to the streets because jail does not cure homelessness. It just adds trauma and a criminal record. Let's listen to the man behind the letter. This issue of homelessness in our community, that is a powerful letter you wrote.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It was very much from the heart, Amy. And I hope that I've been a champion for people experiencing homelessness over the last 8 years. And we are a very compassionate city. And to me, this ordinance in its current state goes against what we're supposed to be. And so it was from the heart. And I think our role in this city is to be compassionate to those that are in times of trouble and are hurting, and it maybe a little inconvenience is okay if we're able to solve some of the problems of those experiencing homelessness.
What do you think, Russell Stahl, is the answer for the homeless experience in Greenville, South Carolina, and in the upstate in general?
It's so complicated.
It is, yeah.
It's not one issue. It's not one
Hmm.
thing that we can do to solve. It's a multitude of things. The first is we need more places for people to go and to live. I would be willing to accept the ordinance if we were to write in um, some conditions on availability of space. And also the criminalization is my main point. We can't make it a crime for people to be living on the streets. It's just not compassionate, and it doesn't solve the problem. I'm hoping that we can work through this ordinance to be something that's more workable, where we have availability of places to be, places for people to be, as well as we need 24/7 bathrooms, and we can't throw them in jail. We just That's just not the right strategy. Um,
And that begs the question, though, because the real piece, it seems, when I listen to advocates in the community for these issues, is the mental health piece and the just addiction piece of the
yeah,
equation is so big, and there are no places to put people or to send
there
them, and
are.
there are no resources. So can that change? I mean, does it have to come from private dollars, public dollars, a combination? What's
It's a combination. It's Greenville has been really good at figuring out problems like this,
Hmm.
but we're not alone. I mean, every
Oh
city is
no,
experiencing this,
absolutely.
and I think our response has been as good or better than most cities, because not only on this issue but on so many issues, because we're willing to work together here and we're willing to collaborate. I'm hopeful that the Greenville Together initiative, the first signs I've seen from them are very positive, and they're getting great results. So I'm not as favor of the ordinance until I see some more of that work that they're doing, and some of the successes that they're able to accomplish.
So catch people up. Where does the ordinance stand at this point?
Right now, it passed first reading, 4-3, which is uncommon for our council to have split votes. I calculated we have split votes probably once a year,
Wow.
and uh, historically we've gotten along very well with each other, and we've been in tandem because we work through the issues before they get to the point of voting on them. So it's past first reading. Second reading will be what will happen to be my last meeting on council, which will
Okay.
be kind of an interesting exit for me. And hopefully, the mayor is going to suggest some amendments to the ordinance with some benchmarks before it goes into place. For example, we have a certain number of available housing, especially during the day. We have no day shelters in Greenville right now.
Wow.
And we also have no shelters for if you're a mom with teenage male children, we don't have a place for them to go either. And so I'm hopeful some of these conditions will help the ordinance. My main thing is we cannot throw people in jail. That is just not the answer.
Well, it
Um,
actually makes it even worse for these people, right? Because
Makes it
now
worse.
they get to add criminal charges on top of all the other
You
life circumstances.
you've got a criminal record. You've got it just makes their life so much more complicated and so much more difficult. It's just not a good thing.
Hmm. Well, it's
So we'll
interesting.
do
So go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
we'll do the reading, and I haven't seen the amendments yet. I've suggested some,
Hmm.
and if some of those conditions, I will I'll I will vote in favor of it if I believe that it's in the right tone. The um, I, it's it's so complicated though,
Yeah.
and we do need to give the police the power to get people help,
Hmm.
and right now they can't.
Yeah.
If someone refuses treatment, if someone refuses to go to a shelter, the police can't do anything. So that is a good part of the bill. And I'm also our police department is so good,
Yeah.
and they're extremely well trained. They've all gone through crisis intervention training.
Hmm.
They've all gone through de-escalation training, and I'm very proud of our police department, and especially Howie Thompson. He's just been a jewel for this city,
Hmm.
and we have to give them the tools to be able to help solve homelessness. The problem with the ordinance, however, is it doesn't provide housing for a person. It doesn't um, it just doesn't have teeth. I mean, it doesn't solve the problem. Um,
Gotcha.
and I did a study I looked at, I don't know, probably 25 different cities who have camping ordinances. And of the cities I looked at, not one considered their ordinance to be successful.
Interesting.
Um, and you measure success in very different ways, of course,
Sure.
but not one said that it decreased homelessness. Um, the but most of those ordinances are more camping, where people are setting up tents and stuff like that. We don't
Hmm.
we don't have that problem here, except in some of the encampments,
Yeah.
mostly in the county.
Hmm.
So it just isn't it's not a solution.
No. Well, I appreciate you shining the light on the issue. I think you definitely got some attention
Yeah,
from
well,
that letter, and I think people are paying attention. So the next meeting is when?
it's Monday week, so
Okay.
I believe that's the 24th.
All right. Well, we will be following it and see what happens. And thanks for your service on City Council.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and maybe out of this will come, maybe we'll inspire some people to get involved and get engaged,
Sure.
and continue to make this place amazing, because it is. I mean, we live in the best city in the United States, and we have to find a way to continue to make it that way.
If anybody has ideas that they want to pass on to the city, what's their best way to do that?
Um, well, for the next 2 weeks, send me an email,
Sure.
or give me a call or give me a text. Other than that, if our Greenville Helps is an incredible resource for us. But also, I'd encourage, I mean, direct contact with council people and with the administration of the city as well. I mean, we're very proud of the fact that I think we respond
Mhm.
when people call us and email us. It may not be as quick as they want, but I
But you'll
think we
get
do a pretty
something
good
back.
job.
My thanks to Russell Stahl for joining me. And up next, we've got someone who is doing great things to help our veterans. Veterans Day fell on my recording week. And so I wanted to make sure that we talked about what's going on with our veterans. We saw the Honor Tower unveiled in Greenville, a beautiful tribute to veterans and first responders. But I wanted to dig in with a person who's a dear friend of mine. We go way back in Greenville, about 20 years or so, and she is doing remarkable work. Meet Jordanna Megongial. So thank you, Jordana, for joining me because you have had this passionate calling. We met back in the social media communication world days, and then you pivoted into this space of veteran work. And it's so fascinating because this has been an extremely fulfilling line of work for you, hasn't it?
It has been,
Yeah.
surprisingly. We started out 10 years ago. I mean,
Wow.
it's been a crazy, crazy ride that I never expected.
And we hit Veterans Day, and I always think of you at that time because I see you posting about important events, including one that is happening as this show drops on Friday. We're going to be promoting it in advance of the show, so just to get a little bit of information out there about where people go, how people take part, what you need to be able to go. I mean, do you just have to be a veteran?
Yeah, so it's actually a day-long conference virtually that we have built specifically for anyone in the post-military community. So that's veterans that's currently transitioning, because that transition process
It's
can be,
hard.
a year long, 2 years long
Hmm.
sometimes. Military spouses, advocates, and hiring companies. That is the
Nice.
missing piece that we need to make sure gets connected in with this, to ensure that they are connecting with our post-military families that need work outside and are able to kind of connect those dots.
And
So
what
that
happens as a result of this program? Like what kind of connections are being made? Have you had great results in the past?
We've had great results. So this is actually our 10th event. It is crazy to think that, but yes. So what we have all of those different groups come together. We have sessions throughout the day from experts in their field. We have people who have actually built resume software. We have people who have helped create some of the largest veteran spaces, business incubators, entrepreneurship programs around. We have all kinds of people who are dedicated to this space and who can bring their expertise to the table. So we have a whole day of those type sessions. We also have networking on the front and the back end of the day. And the really cool thing that we're doing this year, still untried, we'll see how it goes, is what's called reverse recruit. So instead of the typical job fair where a company gets the table and someone comes and throws their resume down and hopes for the best, what we have done is given a free virtual booth to job seeking veterans and military spouses that they could showcase their resume, their skills, their availability, and our hiring companies in attendance can come in, search by keyword. I'm hiring for logistics in South Carolina,
Wow.
find the people who qualify in that area, look at a pitch video, look at a resume, and hopefully make contact for something that is a little bit more long term.
What about going forward? Because obviously people are always looking for the resources, right? And there is a lot available online. Do you guys have anything that continues in this fashion so that people can, make these important connections?
Absolutely. So at the Recon Network, our focus is less on the recruiting aspect of the job aspect. We don't really want to help you find a job necessarily. We want to make
Hmm.
sure you can find yourself after service.
Nice.
And so our focus is on those who are stuck, who just don't quite know where they fit or how to move forward, and walking with them through that process. And so we do one-to-one coaching throughout the year. We have a number of different workshops or webinars throughout the year. We have a 7-day clarity course that is designed to just help people figure out, okay, what do I even want next? Right. And then in the next year, we will have a number more courses and a big product unroll as well. So we'll have a lot of stuff that people can use outside of this big conference once a year.
And let's talk about the needs that veterans have. And you've talked about that transitional piece and then, easing and adjusting into this new world that you're in and that you're going to create, right? Because it is an opportunity to create something new. What are you experiencing? What are you hearing from the veterans you work with?
Yeah, so we work with veterans and military spouses really across the globe, but U.S. based forces. And one of the most common things that we realize that I think is really valuable for the general population to understand is that this isn't as simple as I'm switching jobs, right? When you have when any of us have a large life transition, whether we're getting married or getting divorced or having a kid or moving across the country or switching jobs or what have you, it's
or
usually
retiring. Retirement too. Yeah.
It's usually a lone singular event that is driving everything else, right? You might have other things happening, but there's something singular that's happening. In the case of our post-military community, you might have all of those things happening at once. And adding to that, you often have a real breakdown of identity. Who am I, right? Without the rank, without the name, without all of that, without my troop and brothers and sisters in arms and all that, who even am I? And I think starting the conversation with that rather than, well, what job do you want? Right.
Yes.
And
Okay.
that's a very simplistic way that I think a lot of people look at that transition. But the reality is that many, many men and women are facing a huge aspect of change, and having the grace, the compassion, the empathy, and just the understanding of what they need is really critical to helping 250,000 people exit each year. And even more are considered that veteran status. So we've got millions of those, and it's just important for us to realize that.
And I happen to know you through the state of South Carolina, and I know you're working all over the country, but we do have such a big population of veterans in this state.
Yes, we do. And we have a lot of great organizations doing, what we call the boots on the ground, right?
Yes,
so they are doing the work of ensuring that our local veterans have what they need. Even at the state level, we have a great entity in SCDVA, the Veterans Administration there, that are really, really focused on making sure our South Carolina veterans are taken care of and have what they need and are really thriving. I think that's the biggest focus, is how do we ensure, that they, they have housing, they have food security, they have a job, they have relationships, but how do we make sure that they are really getting to a life that they love again?
Is it important for us all as members of the community, if we know a veteran who's going through transition or making that transition right now, I mean, should we be reaching out to them about resources or how they're doing? What do you think?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest challenges facing this demographic is mental health and, unfortunately, suicide. And the reality is, if anybody's ever heard 22 a day, right? Those numbers are ancient. The reality is that when you include things like addiction and other manners, you're really looking around more like 40 to 44 a day, which is just it's 44 too many, right? And
Absolutely.
so one of the most, I think, influential things that you can do if you know someone who is a veteran, if they're in the transition process, absolutely, but even if they are beyond that, right? Check in, just see how they're doing, because the reality is that most men and women in the circumstance, you won't know until something happens. And so being able to just reach out and say, hey man, I got your back. What do you need? How are you doing? Do you want to go get coffee? Even that simple thing can
Spending
make all the
time.
difference with someone who is struggling, and you will never know that they are struggling. So yes, if you know someone, absolutely just reach out. And I think that's true for all of humanity right now, right? So
yes, for sure.
Just it's important for us to connect and really feel that community level again, all of us.
Amen. That's so important. And really quickly, in your work, how can we all, if we want to support what you are up to, how can we help your organization?
Yes, I would love that. If someone is interested in getting involved in any aspect of veteran advocacy or help, I would love to talk to them. Even if we're not the perfect fit for what they might, if they want to volunteer and do hands-on, we may not be a good fit because we do a lot of stuff virtually, but we can absolutely connect you with resources that would be a good fit. And obviously we love any kind of support, even if it's just a, hey, saw you're doing great, whatever, everybody can use a little bit of that now and then, right?
Absolutely. Jordanna, thank you so much. It is so good to see you and to connect with you about your veterans work, and keep it up because you're making a difference out there, and we really appreciate your service to the community.
Well, Amy, I appreciate you shining a light on it for us.
Yes.
So, and anybody who's interested in the event, even if you're just hearing about it, there's still time. Come on in. We'll figure it out.
When we come back, I've got something good to tell you about, a brand new venue in the upstate for all of us to enjoy. And before we go, I want to show you something good that's happening in our area. It's kind of exciting because there's something brand new, a music listening room that's going to be unveiled. It's part of the Peace Center, but it's a kind of separate venue called the Mockingbird. It's a music room or a listening room, and singer-songwriters are going to come in there and tell the stories behind their songs and perform and do interviews. It's going to be a really unique and brand new music experience for the upstate. Let me show you a first look. Hey, the listening room, the Mockingbird is getting ready to open, and they finally have taken the glass covers down so you can see inside. Y'all, look at this place. The vibe is so cool. Look at the side of the building. They kept all that writing that's on it. How cool is this? This is the really cool part. Look at this massive listening room where you will be able to watch bands and singers and songwriters perform. You'll be able to learn so much more about the music, the stories behind the music. It's going to be so freaking cool. This is amazing. Look at this big bar back there. How cool. And then it goes over into the listening room side back there. Look at all the seating. And that's the stage over there in the window. You can make it out. Really cool, but big space, lots of room for all of us. So just to give you some perspective, this is where it is, right here. And that other section I showed you is right over there. Just amazing. Right in downtown Greenville, across from Falls Tower. Look at it from this perspective. Look at that. That's the big window where the stage is. Isn't that cool? Right on Main Street. Now, I asked the Peace Center to come on and tell us about this new venue, but they're not ready yet. So they said soon, but not yet. It opens in January, and already the tickets are selling out. But if you want to check it out, go to the Peace Center website. Also, if you're missing my monitor this week, I broke it. So I'm going to try to get it fixed. In fact, I'm going to try to pull in an engineer from the station to help me fix it because I don't know how to fix it at this point. But thanks for watching. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you soon on Off Air with Amy and on the news. There's something comforting about experience. It prepares you, makes you wiser, ready for anything. That's why 3 decades later, I still love to keep you informed. Your trust is everything.
Watch Amy Wood on 7 News. weekdays at
First
4,
on 7,
5,
we have
and
breaking
6
news
p.m.
tonight. We want to get to that immediately.